So
Okay.
I think there's also the piece where Ollie is sitting there and he is obviously like dreaming on this thing. And so when you have your own child in your home with you, you're going to have a much cleaner sense of what it is they're struggling with, what's just not making sense, what seems overwhelming than
Because you
you
just know
would
them so
with a
well.
friend, right? So like
Yeah.
if Tony and I share a co-working space and I'm sitting there saying things aloud like, oh, making a website's impossible. How does anyone do this? Like that.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,306. Silver at $14.56, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,522. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture has issued a stinging rebuke to the United States, Great Britain, Sweden, and Ecuador for deliberately exposing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to years of cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, which can only be described as psychological torture. Activist Post reports Niles Melzer visited Assange at Belmarsh Prison in London on May 9th with two doctors who are experts in recognizing potential torture victims. They examined the WikiLeaks founder. Melzer's statement makes no mention of Assange having been hospitalized in the prison after he was unable to converse with his Swedish lawyer. The UN rapporteur said Assange's human rights could be further threatened with extradition to the United States to face 18 charges, including 17 under the Espionage Act. The rapporteur expressed deep concern that the Trump administration is criminalizing journalism. Melzer also blasted the government of Assange's native Australia, saying that Australia is a glaring absence in this case, adding that they're just not around, as if Assange was not an Australian citizen. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In only a matter of months, the city of Chicago is now facing its fifth lawsuit for raiding the homes of innocent people, allegedly by mistake. The Free Thought Project reports that in the most recent lawsuit, stemming from violent police negligence, an innocent family was terrorized, a small child handcuffed, and police used explosives to literally blow holes in their home to search it. On March 15th, Alberta Wilson says Chicago police woke her up, along with her 4 children, as cops forced their way into the home. It was below freezing outside with ice on the ground, and despite that fact, the entire family was forced from the home and made to stand in the freezing rain. Thinking he was a threat, the cops even handcuffed Wilson's 8-year-old son, Royal, who was also forced to stand in the freezing cold. Despite claiming there was a weapon in the home, no weapon was found. Ben & Jerry's, the Vermont-based occasionally political ice cream company, is ready to jump into the CBD game as soon as the non-psychoactive product is legal in all 50 U.S. states. The company announced on Thursday its commitment to including CBD in its ice cream innovations. The Mind Unleashed reports that while it may seem like the logical next step for a company manufacturing flavors such as Cherry Garcia, Half-Baked, and Magic Brownies, the issue is less about expanding on those groovy flavors and more about the fact that activism is, quote, in the DNA of Ben & Jerry's. That's according to a 2018 CNBC interview with CEO Matthew McCarthy.
Acknowledging that you are part of a community and being part of the social change that you want to see come apart in the world that you serve is actually part of business. I actually think that's in the DNA of Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's is poised to jump on the CBD bandwagon as soon as the Food and Drug Administration allows it. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Overburdened with material comforts, America's wealthy can expect another disappointing holiday this year. As Brian Scott tells us, the rich will simply be buying too many things to experience the true meaning of Christmas.
All across the country, those at the top of the economic ladder are denied a privilege that the poorest of the poor take for granted. Rather than fall victim to the rampant consumerism that seems to increase each year, the poor find meaningful joy in simple Christmas traditions, like singing carols to keep warm and hugging relatives who have not yet died. At stores like these, the spiritually bereft must scramble for popular holiday toys in a vain attempt to duplicate the Christmastime happiness that the impoverished enjoy.
Poor people are grateful for just a roof over their heads or something to eat. My wife and I are both lawyers, so that's not enough for us. Certainly hope poor people don't take what they don't have for granted.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom. It is Monday, June the 3rd of 2019. Happy Pride Month to all the LGBTQ people listening out there. I don't celebrate Pride Month. I think it's a useless waste of time. It's a participation trophy for people who never got a trophy doing anything else. That's essentially my view of the subject. It's a participation trophy for existing. That's ultimately what it is. I'm, of course, your host, Aria DeMesso, author of Dancing in Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon, joined in the studio, as always, by
Michael Hampton from CryptoTip.org.
And we got an awesome show lined up. Of course, I'm still reeling from Friday's really awesome episode where Tom Gray just tore into Don Boys for the better part of an hour. Very entertaining stuff. You can listen to the audio-only version of that at our podcast at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I also just highlighted it for the Twitch feed. So if you go to twitch.lrn.fm, you will find the highlight of it there. It was all great. I think the video is probably funnier because you'll see me several times just shoving the mic away to start laughing.
Yeah, you can see me face palming.
The whole thing was hilarious. Definitely worth listening to. I'm excited to go home tonight and listen to it. Of course, I won't be going home for a while because I'm on Free Talk Live tonight. So if you don't listen to Free Talk Live for whatever reason, be sure to listen to it. That's 7 o'clock tonight, right after Call to Freedom. So I've been arguing with people about whether or not homosexuality is genetic. And this is always a nice waste of time, obviously. But
you have nothing better to do?
Not really. I mean, not on my day off.
Oh.
So I actually have to correct myself, evidently. I've argued in the past that there's no way that homosexuality is genetic. And the reason that I argue that is because any gene that is gay, same-sex attracted, cannot reproduce. By definition, it cannot reproduce. So how would this gene that cannot reproduce?
By the same way everyone else reproduces.
Well, genes reproduce sexually. Right. That's ultimately what they do. They create these gene machines like organisms and things like that, and they reproduce. They have sex and they carry on. But two men can't reproduce.
No, two men can't reproduce.
Right.
You have to have a sperm and an egg. That's how it works. But so
right. But there's
all the gay man has to do is go find an egg somewhere.
Yeah, but maybe in the last 20 or 30 years. But I mean, homosexuality has existed long before, 30 years ago.
That's true. That's true.
We could argue that, gay people were repressing it and, participating in same-sex relationships and things like that. And that might explain some of it and its persistence throughout successive generations. But any gene that, exists to create a tendency that is by definition counter to its own procreation would breed itself out immediately. So it couldn't come to exist in the first place, has been my argument. But I don't know what I'm talking about, evidently, because a giant study links DNA variants to same-sex behavior. Coming to us from sciencemag.org, how genes influence sexual orientation has sparked debate for at least a quarter century. But geneticists have had only a handful of underpowered studies to address a complex and often stigmatized area of human behavior. Now, the largest ever study of the genetics of sexual orientation has revealed 4 genetic variants strongly associated with what the researchers call non-heterosexual behavior. Some geneticists are hailing the findings as cautious, but a significant step in understanding the roles of genes in sexuality. Others question the wisdom of asking the question in the first place. No, I think it's a question that has to be asked because it is counter to the survival of these alleles to be gay.
It's counter to what you... No, I'm not that familiar with genetics, but it seems like they said there were 4 different genetic markers.
Yes.
So suppose one parent has 3 of them and another parent has 3 of them, and their kid might get all 4.
It's possible, but I would imagine that the genetic variants are probably mutually exclusive. I don't know. I'm speculating. But Andrea Ghana, a research fellow with the Broad Institute in Cambridge and Harvard, and colleagues, God, can we get to it? Examined data from hundreds of thousands of people who provided both DNA and behavioral information to 2 large genetics surveys, the UK Biobank study and the private genetics from 23andMe. So that's right. 23andMe sold your DNA information to a scientist, probably without your permission.
Yeah, there you go.
Or if they asked your permission, it was in that long terms of services that you didn't even bother to read. And it's just a matter of time before this information is also being turned over to governments. They analyzed DNA markers from people who answered either yes or no to the question, have you ever had sex with someone of the same sex? In total, they identified 450,000 and some odd people who said that their sexual relationships had been exclusively heterosexual, and 26,000 who reported at least one homosexual experience. So about 5%. Yeah, that's actually spot on. That's about right. In Ghana's talk yesterday at the annual meeting of blah, 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 he emphasized that the researchers were cautious about exploring sexual behavior that is still illegal in many countries, and that they tried to frame their questions carefully to avoid a fishing expedition. Yeah, but we're talking about studies from the United States and the United Kingdom. Being a fairy is not illegal here.
No, it's not.
The team included behavioral scientists, pre-registered their research design, and also met regularly with members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning community. Oh, so
questioning?
Is Q questioning or queer?
I thought it was queer.
I thought it was queer.
Shows you what I know.
Maybe we need 2 Qs now. LGBTQIAAAP plus.
Yeah.
What a mess.
2 pluses.
Might as well. Infinity pluses. Who gives a crap? Sky's the limit when you divide people into increasingly smaller groups. Until you get down to the individual, which is the only group that actually makes sense. But Ghana acknowledged that what they call non-heterosexual behavior includes a large spectrum of sexual experiences that go from people who engage exclusively in same-sex behavior to those who might have experimented once or twice. I don't think that's really pertinent. So they included bisexuality and homosexuality in the same category. I don't think that's really a problem with the study, except it makes it more heterosexual-centric. Considering it's a study about homosexuals, that's kind of odd. But they performed a genome-wide association study in which they looked for specific variants in DNA that were more common in people who reported at least one same-sex experience. They identified 4 such variants on chromosomes 7, 11, 12, and 15, respectively. How curious. They typed out 7, the word, and then used numbers for the others.
That's a little odd.
That is super odd. 2 variants were specific to men who reported gay experiences. 1, a cluster of DNA on chromosome 15 has been previously found to predict male pattern baldness. Another, maybe that's why they're on a lot. Well, I don't know. I think about Chris when I read that.
Yeah,
no offense whatsoever to Chris, but he's gay.
Who came to mind, and he's bald.
Or going bald, rather.
Bald, right. Male pattern, he's got the male pattern.
So I would speculate that he probably does have this variant on chromosome 15. Another variant on chromosome 11 sits in a region rich with olfactory receptors. That's why gay men like to smell nice. Ghana noted that olfaction is thought to play a large role in sexual attraction. A much smaller study, which used a different kind of association technique, has suggested a stretch of DNA on the X chromosome was leaked to inherited homosexuality. In the new study, that stretch was not found to be associated with the reported same-sex behavior. Okay. So the much smaller study has been shown to be invalid or incorrect. Cool. That's cool news. There's more about this study about asking whether or not being gay is a choice or whether or not it's genetic. Evidently, it seems to be pretty scientifically established that it is, in fact, genetic.
There you have it.
This is the Call to Freedom. We'll be back in just a moment with more of this discussion.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you want clearer quality, you can use the Discord call-in lines at discord.lrn.fm. Now, we've been talking about the genetics of being gay, and evidently I'm not the only one to notice the obvious paradox with the whole thing. According to Technology Review, across cultures, between 2% and 5% of men are gay. That amounts to an evolutionary paradox. Gay men have fewer children, obviously, so one would expect that the trait would disappear over time, but it hasn't. However, the very same genetic factors that predispose people to being gay may also, when heterosexuals have them, lead to more sexual partners and greater mating success. Now, I don't think it's necessarily just when heterosexuals have them. I think that's part of the issue that people like Don Boys have with homosexuals, is that it's really, really, really easy for us to get laid. I don't know why I consider myself in that. Well, because I'm bisexual. So yeah, it makes it even easier for me to get laid.
Yeah, you got your pick of genders, right?
I do indeed. So the much smaller study that wasn't even really relevant, I don't know why they went into it. The 4 newly identified genetic variants were also correlated with some mood and mental health disorders. Oh boy, Here we go. Both men and women with the variants were more likely to have experienced major depressive disorder and schizophrenia, and women were more likely to have bipolar disorder. Ghana stressed that these findings should not be taken to mean that the variants cause the disorders. Instead, it might be because individuals who engage in non-heterosexual behavior are more likely to be discriminated against and are more likely to develop depression. Could be. That's the issue I have, though, is that, depression it's about brain chemicals. Extensive sadness or persistent sadness because of one's environment is not depression.
No.
Depression is a brain chemical issue that is, generally sorted out with some sort of other brain chemical. But just being sad persistently because you're discriminated against isn't going to cause actual depression.
No, but it might make things worse if you already have the brain chemical imbalance.
Absolutely. Ghana noted that the correlation with schizophrenia and risk-taking behavior was more pronounced in the UK Biobank participants, who tend to skew older than those in the 23andMe group. That could be because older generations faced more sexual discrimination than younger ones. Oh, is she seriously suggesting that discrimination will cause schizophrenia?
That seems to be the implication here.
I'm not an expert on schizophrenia, but I was pretty sure it was similarly genetic.
Yeah, and I thought that was also kind of a brain chemical thing.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. I would suggest it probably is. I mean, what we're ultimately dealing with here are questions of nature and nurture. And I don't think it's going to be either one or the other. I think the best way to characterize this is how they did. There may be a gene that causes predisposition for a person to engage in homosexual behavior. But whether or not that gene is inherently going to make people gay, I don't know. You know, it just predisposes them to it, and then their environment will take over. Their early childhood will take over. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I think it's probably a little bit of all of it. Actually, to go even further, it's all nature, because the environment is also a product of nature and other gene machines acting in accordance with what they were programmed to do. So,
okay,
I'm sort of a naturist in that regard, is the new word I've used to describe it, because fatalist has a lot of negative connotations that I don't really mean to invoke. And naturalist has more positive connotations, so I'm not a naturalist. Well, I am a naturalist, but I'm a naturist, is how I prefer to characterize it.
Okay.
Overall, they said that the findings reinforce the idea that human sexual behavior is complex and can't be pinned on any simple constellation of DNA. I'm pleased to announce that there is no gay gene. Rather, non-heterosexuality is in part influenced by many tiny genetic effects. Ghana told Science that researchers have yet to tie the genetic variants to actual genes, and it's not even clear whether they sit within coding or non-coding stretches of DNA. Trying to pin down exactly what these DNA group regions do will be among the team's difficult next steps. Well, that's pretty much the extent of it. It goes on with a bit more fluff, but none of it's especially interesting or provocative. Oh, here we go. Homosexual people who possess these same 4 genetic variants tend to have more sexual partners, suggesting associated genes might confer some mating advantage for heterosexuals. And then they go right back to heterosexuals. Why is this? I don't want to be that person, but why is this study about homosexuality using heterosexuals as this sort of standard?
Because they're 95% of all the people?
Yeah, but they're studying homosexuality. I mean, heterosexual people who possess these genetic variants tend to have more sexual partners. So, therefore, this confers a mating advantage for heterosexuals. I don't see the connection there. If the genes predispose them to be gay, how is it going to help heterosexuals in the first place when they're probably not heterosexual?
That's a good question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misread the whole thing. It's heterosexual people who possess these same 4 genetic variants. Okay, so that makes more sense. I would also suggest that they probably help homosexual people have more sex partners as well when they have these variants. I don't know that.
Seems reasonable.
But I'm going to speculate that, yeah. That could help explain why these variants might stick around in populations, even if people attracted to the same sex tend to have fewer children than heterosexuals. Fewer, as in 0.
A lot fewer. Well, no, I wouldn't say 0.
Well, again, until the last 30 years, it wasn't even possible for homosexuals to have children. So it was absolutely 0 historically. Ghana did not touch on the finding. What finding? There was no finding in that. People are going to oversimplify the study and say that gay genes help straight people have more sex. And it's really not that simple, nor is it even sensible. That's not a sensible statement. It's saying these genes might be... How about this? These genes appear to be related to promiscuity. And as a result of that promiscuity, a person becomes less restricted by the gender of the person with whom they are having sex. That to me seems like a more accurate representation of what we're hearing.
That seems a bit more accurate, yeah.
But so evidently, homosexual genes can reproduce if they don't cause homosexuality 100% of the time, or genetic variants of DNA can reproduce if they don't cause homosexuality 100% of the time, and if, as a corollary, they end up making the person who has them more promiscuous, so that when they do end up not making the person gay, they just end up making the person a lot of children, which causes the gene, obviously, to grow and develop and to thrive and to continue existing. So all of that does make sense, and I'm glad to have learned something today, instead of operating this belief that it was simply impossible for it to happen. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. We're going to talk about Julian Assange and whether or not he's being poisoned by the state.
this is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And before we start talking about Julian Assange, I want to tell you about the Rational Review News Digest located at www.rationalreview.com. It is the Freedom Movement's daily news digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet that are of interest to libertarians and to liberty-minded people. They include podcasts, videos, news articles, and more, and they're now a source for people to receive the Call to Freedom's podcasts. So be sure to check them out. Again, that's rationalreview.com. Now, on the subject of Julian Assange, a number of things immediately leap to the front. A Swedish judge has rejected his detention or a request to detain Assange in absentia, complicating hopes to extradite him from the United Kingdom. Prosecutors said Assange had not cooperated with their investigation into a 2010 allegation of rape against the WikiLeaks founder, and so should be remotely held for questioning. This would have allowed them to move forward with steps to extradite him, but the judge rejected the motion as Assange is already detained in the United Kingdom. Detention in absentia is an ordinary procedure in Swedish law if a person is abroad or in hiding, and would allow the prosecution to issue a European arrest warrant and bring him to Sweden. Speaking after the ruling, the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions said that the rape investigation would continue, and she would instead issue a European investigation order to question Assange. So this rape allegation that they, allowed rightfully to vanish for a number of years, suddenly brought back to the forefront of their discussion now that Julian Assange is in custody and, from what we're hearing, probably dying.
Yeah, very well could be.
The Australian claimed political asylum in London's Ecuadorian embassy 7 years ago to avoid extradition to Sweden over the rape allegation, which he has repeatedly denied. But Swedish prosecutors reopened their investigation in May, a month after Assange was arrested and removed from the embassy. The WikiLeaks founder, who is in jail for breaching UK bail conditions. That's the reason he's in jail right now.
Yep.
It's for breaching bail conditions. Is also facing extradition to the U.S. on federal conspiracy charges related to leaks of government secrets. If convicted on all counts, Assange could be sentenced to 175 years in prison. Should Sweden allow an extradition request, it would be up to the UK, where he would eventually be sent. And there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever he would be sent to the United States.
Oh yeah, that's where he'd end up.
Last week, UN Special Rapporteur said that the 47-year-old had suffered prolonged exposure to psychological torture and urged the United Kingdom not to extradite him. I would have rather him, encourage them to release him for not doing anything to hurt anyone. So the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's not getting any better for Julian Assange.
No, it's not going to for a while yet.
Now, the good news on the subject of Julian Assange is that he will not face charges in relation to the Vault 7 releases, at the very least.
Yeah, that was a small bit of good news.
Yeah. So the decision evidently surprised national security experts and some former officials, given their recent decision to go after him on Espionage Act charges. The Justice Department has decided to not charge Julian Assange for his role in exposing some of the CIA's most secret spying tools, according to a U.S. official and two other people familiar with the case. Now, who leaked those? Who leaked Vault 7?
There was somebody. It was somebody else that they actually caught the guy, I think, and he went to prison. But
well, I knew it wasn't Chelsea Manning.
No, it wasn't Chelsea Manning. It was someone else.
Well, it's a move that has surprised national security experts. They literally just said that. I hate modern journalists so much. The decision also means that Assange will not face public punishment for publishing one of the CIA's most potential arsenals of digital code used to hack devices, dubbed Vault 7, and they literally just also said that.
Yeah, they repeat themselves a lot these days, don't they?
They do. Prosecutors were stymied by several factors. First, the government is facing a ticking clock in its efforts to extradite Assange to the United States from the United Kingdom, where he is being held. Extradition laws require the U.S. to bring any additional charges against Assange within 60 days of the first indictment, which prosecutors filed in March, accusing Assange of helping former Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning hack into military computers. Now, it has been 60 days since March, has it not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been at least 60 days.
I'm pretty sure it's getting closer to 90 days at this point.
That sounds about right. The way I count them, more than 60 already.
Second, prosecutors were worried about the sensitivity of the Vault 7 materials, according to an official familiar with the deliberations over whether to charge Assange. So we had officials, okay, to be clear, the United States government had officials sitting around in a back room discussing whether or not they were going to prosecute Julian Assange. This was not being a grand jury trying to find out whether or not they could convict him. This was a shadow deal of shadow brokers in a back room trying to figure out whether or not it was even necessary to nail this guy.
That's how it works.
And since he's already facing almost 180 years in prison, I mean, it's blue on black at this point.
Yeah,
doesn't mean much. Let's slap another few hundred years on that, right? Such a classified subject in court being approached risks exposing even more CIA secrets. I would love that, though.
Yeah, let's do that.
We tried to prosecute this guy who was exposing our secrets, and we inadvertently exposed a lot of our secrets. The CIA has never officially confirmed the authenticity of the leaked documents. Oh, that's another issue. Yeah. The government would have to say that they're authentic in order to prosecute them.
They sure would. Of course, everyone knows they are. But
oh, they're absolutely authentic. That's awesome. I love that. So that's more of the FBI, CIA, military-industrial spying complex not wanting to reveal to the world what it's actually doing, even if it means that they can prosecute someone. So how are they handling this when they use these tools to find what they consider to be severe criminals? What are they doing if they're not willing to bring it to court in order to prosecute them? What would they have to do? They would have to use some sort of extrajudicial process in order to take them out.
Yeah, well,
e.g., assassinations.
At least the leaker gets fired. I mean, that's the minimum that's going to happen.
Right, but I'm thinking more criminal justice-wise. I mean, okay, so the FBI has these tools to hack the Tor browser, right?
Right.
So they used it to find a bunch of pedophiles, or with some pedophile mastermind. I don't remember the details.
The Playpen case.
And then in court, they were like, no, we're going to drop all charges against this guy because we don't want to release the information about how we actually caught him.
Well, what was the point of doing all the work in the first place and using the malware and all of that?
The point was to distribute child porn. I don't know how we can conclude anything else. The FBI was the world's largest distributor of child porn last year.
Do we have a group of FBI agents that just wanted to get their hands on a big stash of child porn for themselves?
Well, they succeeded. They didn't keep it to themselves, though. No, they shared it with the rest of the world. For the people who are, gritting their teeth about Pizzagate and other made-up nonsense, here is provable things that actually happened here in the real world. The FBI, largest distributor of child porn last year.
You've got 2 weeks. Come and get all the child porn before we have to shut it down.
He doesn't mean we, okay?
We mean the FBI.
He's speaking on behalf of the FBI.
Because that's what they did. They took over this. They took over the server and they let it run for a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that was just the one specific example.
There's just one.
There's countless going on right now. There's the FBI running the Instagram and Snapchat, I think. I don't remember the details, but they're running various child porn distribution rings, and they don't seem to be prosecuting anyone over it. And how can they prosecute people when it would require revealing their sources, revealing their secrets? So what are they going to do? They're either going to look the other way, it's literally just a front for them to distribute child porn, or they're going to handle it extrajudiciously. They're going to kill people. They're going to export them to CIA black sites and have the CIA do it, or outsource it to Saudi Arabia.
They're going to disappear or get into car accidents.
This is the call to freedom, and your government sucks.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
The entire nation has been transfixed by the emotional saga of missing toddler Aaron Crawford. Police remain baffled by 4-year-old Aaron's mysterious disappearance. The Crawford family is finally speaking out, but it isn't easy.
We're taking it day by day, We just miss our baby so much.
This must be so hard on everyone.
All he does is cry. I hate him.
Little Aaron was last seen in the bedroom he shares with his older brother, Denny. Authorities say he was abducted by an intruder in the middle of the night.
Denny was in the room when Aaron was taken.
Yeah, right here. Now it's just my room.
Denny, can you tell us what happened?
I was in my room. A man lifted up the window and came in.
Were you scared?
Yes, because I thought he's going to take my Xbox.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And if you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, or just enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which you can find at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." You know, typical cop stuff. Get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and batteries not included. The coupon code CTF to get, to get all shipping costs waived. May or may not still be working.
Give it a try.
No, it's not even that. I totally broke today's archives. I left Adobe Audition open.
Oh, no.
So there won't be a podcast tomorrow, which sucks. Because there can be, and since I won't be doing anything else, I might as well do it tomorrow night, just extracting the audio from the Twitch feed. Ideally, taking out the commercials. I probably won't bother with that, but that sucked.
Oh, no.
I just happened to see that I left it open, so of course the foul couldn't be overwritten with today's episode. It should be overwriting now. I don't know. and it's not super important. So Julian Assange, stuff going on with him. Evidently, the government doesn't want to continue prosecuting him, but it's Pride Month, and I want to get back into that. So, evidently, a Catholic bishop says that Pride Month is harmful for children.
Harmful for children?
Yep. An American Roman Catholic bishop has said that Catholics should not support any Pride Month event, and that pride is especially harmful to children.
You know what's especially harmful for children?
Christianity?
Catholic priests.
Well, Christianity as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Tobin, 71, is a Roman Catholic bishop in Providence, USA. And he looks younger than 71, to be fair. He looks like he might be 55, 56. That's pretty good looking for a 71-year-old.
70, yeah.
He tweeted a reminder that Catholics should not support or attend LGBTQ Pride Month events held in June. They promote a culture and encourage activities that are contrary to Catholic faith and morals. They are especially harmful for children. The Twitter backlash. What else was going to happen?
Yeah, you saw this coming a mile away.
Yeah, was swift. A reminder that Catholic priests were molesting children for decades and then tried hard to cover it up, and are still molesting children. Another added, harmful for children. Did irony just die? Can you give it the last rites? I don't think the Catholic Church will ever have a strong enough moral position again to comment on what is harmful for children. So, nope, can't read that. The tweet has been replied to 50,000 times, and I would imagine that 49,997 of those are people attacking him for being such an idiot.
Yeah.
Obviously, this tweet is directed towards the congregation, not the clergy. Otherwise, it would look somewhat hypocritical.
Just a bit.
Others said, investigate the pedophiles in your ranks who use their power to predate on the innocent. Send your countless riches stored in vaults and crypts and offshore accounts to those who starve and live in poverty. Then come and tell me how to live my life. As opposed to the Catholic Church, which has never been remotely harmful to children. Get your own house in order before telling people how they should live.
Yeah.
Now, I have no reason to believe that this particular Catholic priest has sex with kids, but it's a common thing among Catholicism, going all the way back to the monasteries. It was especially common. That's why a lot of people would enter into the monasteries, either or the convents, because they were lesbians. And this would put them in seclusion with a bunch of lesbians where eyes were not always going to be upon them.
Yeah.
Or for men, put them in seclusion with other men where other people's eyes would not always be upon them. So it was a very common thing for gay people to enter into the church. I would not be at all surprised, as we discussed on the past, if this whole thing, if all of Catholicism was just a front to give these people an excuse to have sex with kids, or an avenue for having sex with kids.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that it being a Catholic priest does give you a whole lot of access to kids that's unmonitored. So, yeah, if you are a pedophile, that's somewhere that you'll go.
In other news, press F to pay respects. A trans woman who was seeking asylum in the United States died on Saturday from dehydration and HIV-related complications after spending 6 weeks detained by ICE. Nice little intersection of many, many things that I hate. Johanna Medina Leon arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso on April 11th. She was seeking asylum based on fear of prosecution due to being trans. Leon, who was 25, was from El Salvador, and she was immediately taken into ICE custody and spent the next 6 weeks detained at Otero County Processing, a private detention center in New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Private in large quotation marks. So she died of dehydration while in private custody overseen by ICE.
Yeah,
could nobody get the bitch a glass of water?
No. The Border Patrol, their purpose is to pour out the water so that people can't drink it.
Leon reportedly fell ill on Tuesday, May the 28th, and was taken to a hospital complaining of chest pains. On that same day, she received a positive HIV test result. That sucks. Easily treatable here in the United States. Not necessarily curable, but suppressible. Also, on May 28th, ICE said that she was released from their custody and being processed for parole. It's not clear if her release from ICE custody happened before or after she complained of the chest pains that led to her hospitalization. The United States government has killed a lot of people. It was very hard not to drop some foul language there. They have killed a lot of people at the southern border since the year started.
Yeah.
At least 6 children. Here's a trans chick who was killed. All of these by easily preventable things. Just get the bitch some water.
It's not hard.
How do you have somebody in the United States dying of dehydration? That's absolutely ridiculous. You can go anywhere in the United States and say, oh my God, I'm dying. Please get me a glass of water. And they will get you a glass of water.
And they won't even charge you a cent for it.
It will be totally free. They'll even give you some ice sometimes if you go to the right place. And this woman being held in custody at a private prison, because let's call it what it is. It's a prison overseen by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, died of dehydration. She's too young. She's too young to have been killed by AIDS. 25 years old. She can't have had HIV for all 25 of the years of those lives. And even if she had, it usually takes longer to kill people than 25 years. So there's no way that killed her. So what killed this bitch? Probably dehydration. By the point that you're going to the hospital for dehydration, you're in really bad shape. This had to have been going on for a very long time. We have a little stay hydrated bot that we use on Twitch to remind us, oh yeah, you dumbass, you need to be drinking some water. It tells us that we need to drink, I think, like 4 ounces every hour.
Yep.
I don't drink that much while I'm on the show, but I tend to, drink liquid throughout the day, so it's not really a big deal. But it's sad that this commodity that is so abundant, so easy to acquire, is being denied to people, to other human beings at government facilities.
It's insane. There's no reason for this.
She didn't violate a single law coming to the United States, as she came here specifically requesting political asylum, probably rightly fearing discrimination and persecution in El Salvador.
Yeah, she did everything, quote unquote, legally, and she wound up in a prison and dead for it.
Yep. In less than a month, she ended up in prison and then dead.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
She did everything above the board, and she's still dead. Presumably, largely due to dehydration. Now, I imagine if you have HIV, being dehydration is probably more severe. Being dehydrated is probably more severe than if you don't have HIV.
It probably is.
But either way, 25 years old, she should have been able to survive.
Now, I've been to the hospital for dehydration. I literally fell through a glass door when I passed out from dehydration, woke up to the fire department standing over me, rode the ambulance to the hospital. They gave me saline for 2 hours and sent me home. This is survivable.
Well, I guess it would depend on how dehydrated one is.
Yeah, she would have had to been dehydrated for a very long time.
Well, she was in ICE custody. I wouldn't put it past them. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We got Mustafa Cole of the Kids Compassion Charity coming with us when we get back, and you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,306. Silver at $14.56, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,522. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture has issued a stinging rebuke to the United States, Great Britain, Sweden, and Ecuador for deliberately exposing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to years of cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, which can only be described as psychological torture. Activist Post reports Niles Melzer visited Assange at Belmarsh Prison in London on May 9th with two doctors who are experts in recognizing potential torture victims. They examined the WikiLeaks founder. Melzer's statement makes no mention of Assange having been hospitalized in the prison after he was unable to converse with his Swedish lawyer. The UN rapporteur said Assange's human rights could be further threatened with extradition to the United States to face 18 charges, including 17 under the Espionage Act. The rapporteur expressed deep concern that the Trump administration is criminalizing journalism. Melzer also blasted the government of Assange's native Australia, saying that Australia is a glaring absence in this case, adding that they're just not around, as if Assange was not an Australian citizen. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In only a matter of months, the city of Chicago is now facing its fifth lawsuit for raiding the homes of innocent people, allegedly by mistake. The Free Thought Project reports that in the most recent lawsuit, stemming from violent police negligence, an innocent family was terrorized, a small child handcuffed, and police used explosives to literally blow holes in their home to search it. On March 15th, Alberta Wilson says Chicago police woke her up, along with her 4 children, as cops forced their way into the home. It was below freezing outside with ice on the ground, and despite that fact, the entire family was forced from the home and made to stand in the freezing rain. Thinking he was a threat, the cops even handcuffed Wilson's 8-year-old son, Royal, who was also forced to stand in the freezing cold. Despite claiming there was a weapon in the home, no weapon was found. Ben & Jerry's, the Vermont-based occasionally political ice cream company, is ready to jump into the CBD game as soon as the non-psychoactive product is legal in all 50 U.S. states. The company announced on Thursday its commitment to including CBD in its ice cream innovations. The Mind Unleashed reports that while it may seem like the logical next step for a company manufacturing flavors such as Cherry Garcia, Half-Baked, and Magic Brownies, The issue is less about expanding on those groovy flavors and more about the fact that activism is, quote, in the DNA of Ben & Jerry's. That's according to a 2018 CNBC interview with CEO Matthew McCarthy.
Acknowledging that you are part of a community and being part of the social change that you want to see come apart in the world that you serve is actually part of business. I actually think that's in the DNA of Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's is poised to jump on the CBD bandwagon as soon as the Food and Drug Administration allows it. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
An amateur sailor has announced his plans to sail around the world to decrease awareness of important global issues. 29-year-old Michael Gilmer will cover approximately 28,000 nautical miles over 3 months, all the while drawing attention away from famine afflicting several African nations, revolution in the Middle East, flooding in Thailand, and economic instability across 5 continents.
The goal here is to really make people think about a young, overconfident on an expensive boat, rather than the pressing matters of substance that actually affect people's lives.
As Gilmer set off on his journey Thursday, something was happening in Washington. In local news, a cute 8-year-old is beginning to realize how much better she is than ugly girls.
Since I'm cute and they're not, that means that they're not as good as me.
In other news, a slaughterhouse worker is told to stop naming them all. And sure, an area man can watch your cat while his life is falling apart, no problem. You have just participated in a large-scale psychological research study. Please fill out the attached liability waiver and send it to theonion.com/newsbeat.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom, broadcast as always from the Liberty Radio studios here in Keene, New Hampshire. I'm your host as always, Artie Mezzo. Free Talk Live tonight, coming up just after Call to Freedom, so be sure to stay tuned for that. You get 6 hours of radio featuring me, so if you're not sick of me yet, just stick around. Joined as always in the studio by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And we are going to get Mustafa Cole. There appears to be some sort of issue. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but so for the time being, let's go to other nonsense going on.
We've got lots of it.
There is no limit. Apparently, the body of a black trans woman has been pulled from a lake in Texas. So again, another F to pay respects. Dallas police are investigating after another black trans woman was found dead in Texas. I don't understand why these trans people are still in Texas.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, you said Dallas, right? That's what, the second one in a week?
I think it's been longer than a week.
Is there a serial killer on the loose? Maybe
it could very well be. The body was pulled out by a game warden, one of the first to arrive on the scene, who didn't wait for police due to fears that the body would float back into the lake. The body was not immediately identified, but police in Dallas County Medical Examiner's Office today confirmed the race and gender of the body. What do they mean by that?
Yeah, what do they mean by gender of the body?
Police have not connected to any previous deaths of black trans women in Texas. So
wait, what?
They're not saying whether or not it's related because they don't seem to really know. That's not surprising, as she was just found dead. Right now, the police department is actively looking to see if these assaults and murders have any connection. We haven't yet been able to affirm a link. A cause of death has not yet been confirmed either, but a press conference is expected to take place today. Malaysia was found shot dead in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently,
I thought it was also in Dallas.
We're joined now by Mustafa Cole. He's finally with us. Of the Kids Compassion Charity in Sierra Leone. Mustafa, how is the charity going? Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Hey, Guy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I'm presently in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and I am the co-founder and the CEO of the Kids Compassion Charity.
And the story that brought the Kids Compassion Charity to my attention was this woman whose name I don't actually have in front of me at the moment. I did earlier, who was blinded in an oil accident.
Like, like back then, I was like working, one crypto lady. Her name is Tony Lynn Scarsley. Don't know if you know Tony.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, please. I have to actually fix something on my end. So just stick tight. Yeah,
that's on our end, right?
Yeah, there's a weird sound issue that occasionally occurs with the audio devices, but it should be resolved now. So go back over that for me one more time. Tell me about the blind woman who was injured in an oil accident, and how can we go about assisting her?
Come again?
No, that's not on our end. Yeah, I'm going to sit tight for a moment. I will work this out when we get back, or when we go out. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't think it's actually on our end.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's on our end. So.
It usually is. It sounded like the kind of thing that is usually on our end, but whatever. Last year, 26 people, mostly 26 trans people, mostly women of color, were violently killed in the United States. Now, 26, as we talked about then, is very, very low as far as murder rates go. I imagine that significantly more gay people were killed than that, and far more straight people and cis people were killed than that.
Makes sense to me.
As far as murder rates, and we even calculated it then, that's like 0.0001% of trans people being killed for being trans. So as far as, the actual numbers go, that's extremely low.
Yeah, so having 2 turn up dead in a week in Texas is definitely an outlier.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's an outlier. The South sucks, and it's definitely pushing back right now against what they consider to be the leftist agenda. That's why we're seeing these abortion laws go nuts. Now they're proposing laws about castrating sex offenders and things like that. They're just fully going off the rails. And I would not be at all surprised to see Mississippi again attempting to pass its religious discrimination bill, which allows people to discriminate on the basis of religion, which in theory I'm fine with. The issue I had with the Mississippi bill was that it protected Christians from counter-discrimination. If you want to fire somebody for being LGBT, okay, I'm okay with that. That's your right. But I also have the right to discriminate against you for being a Christian, for being a bigot of the Christian persuasion. With the Mississippi law, that was illegal.
Yeah, that's not right. You either have it nobody gets special treatment or everyone does.
Right. So I wouldn't be surprised to find Mississippi or Alabama or Texas or one of these other southern states attempting the same sort of nonsense now that Trump is in office and now that he has weighted the Supreme Court heavily in favor of what they characterize as traditional values. So only 26 trans people being killed. I mean, really, that's a very low number. But the most tragic one is the trans person killed in ICE custody while she was applying for asylum.
Now, are we counting that one as a murder?
I would, but I don't think they are.
The stats probably won't.
No. They're still pulling that there is a crisis at our southern border nonsense.
Yeah, there's a crisis. You made it up.
Yes, they absolutely did. The mass influx of aliens lured by the lies of human smugglers. Well, just allow them in and it will cease to be a problem.
Yeah, they don't want to allow them in, though.
Many of these aliens attempt to enter the United States with untreated or unknown diseases. Well, perhaps that's because the medical system here in the United States is better than the one in El Salvador. So if they're going to be diagnosed with a medical condition, it's far more likely to happen in the United States than in El Salvador.
That's true.
So, ICE officials also said that on May the 18th, Leon had passed an interview determining that she had a credible fear of persecution if forced to return to El Salvador, based on her status as a trans woman. Otero County Processing Center, where Leon spent 6 weeks, was recently criticized by the ACLU, which alleged poor treatment of and unconscionable conditions for LGBT immigrants. Allegra Love, is that seriously this woman's name? It is.
It happens.
Said that Leon did nothing illegal when she fled to the United States. And she didn't. She simply came here seeking political asylum because she had been discriminated against in El Salvador and evidently faced a legitimate fear of persecution.
Yep. Perfectly legal, perfectly reasonable, and it sounds like they might have even approved her claim for asylum if she had lived.
And it sounds like she, if she had escaped Texas, she may have actually fled the persecution that she was likely to face as a trans woman, but she didn't make it out of Texas, evidently. She died in El Paso in a hospital of dehydration or complications related to dehydration. The government, as far as I'm aware, has not released an official cause of death, and they probably aren't going to, just like they didn't release the cause of death about the 6-year-old boy that they allowed to die.
Nope.
Or the 7-year-old girl that they allowed to die, or any of these other peoples that they're either allowing to die or killing outright through negligence. More often, I would say probably through negligence, because this woman appears to have died. She was hospitalized, at least, from dehydration while in the custody of the United States government. That's deplorable. There's no excuse for it. So you have random wackos in Texas running around killing trans people. You have the United States government locking people up in cages until they die of dehydration. At some point, it seems like it would be prudent to guillotine the politicians. Now, although not in literal terms, this is the call to freedom.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin, but imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And as we talked about prior to going out to the break, as we talked about since Friday, since we organized this, we're joined now by Mustafa Cole of Sierra Leone, who is the CEO of the Kids Compassion Charity, which you can actually support using both PayPal and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Dash. And all
hey
of this,
guys, how are you?
We're doing great. How are things over there in Sierra Leone?
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm getting you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. How are things over there in Sierra Leone?
Oh, well, Sierra Leone is great. You know, Sierra Leone is great and everything is going on systematically, but we have a setback with an economic crisis.
I certainly can relate to that. The economic crisis here in the United States has certainly not been as severe, but and it hasn't hit nearly as hard as it would in a place like Sierra Leone.
No, it hasn't been as bad here.
Ours is so much bad and nasty because the point is people cannot go with $1 a day in Sierra Leone. So like people is crying food. And, you know, that is the problem presently in Sierra Leone for now. You know, Sierra Leone is a very poor state where one man cannot go with $1 a day. So this is the main problem. And that is the main idea in coming up with Kids Compassion, to take care of deprived children that are, you know, have some of their family members of the past Ebola outbreak and the mudslide.
Very, very cool. Now, I would recommend people go to kidscompassioncharity.com/donate-now if they would like to contribute to that effort. You're currently attempting to buy a printing machine for village schools. Is that correct?
Yes, we want to get a printing machine for village schools because we are still on the older days. Kids are still, writing with pens, and at the same time, again, they're writing in the blackboard. So we want to see how we can print some of their question papers for them and make things very, very easy, because a lot of these schools, they lack printing machines. So we want to see how we can get them printing machines and get them chairs and benches.
Very cool. I would love for them to have those things. Again, that's kidscompassioncharity.com/donate-now. You're also helping to donate water and things like that. And I assume food as well. Is that correct?
Yes, we are trying to see how we can give water facility, because water is one of the most, pressing things kids need now, people in different houses need, because it have a lot of disadvantage, especially when a lot of kids are always walking, always be in the street at night for them to fetch water. And at the end of the day, they get tired, so we want to see how we can get water facility into some villages and get water facility as well into schools.
So are we dealing with villages right now in Sierra Leone that do not have access to wells already?
Yeah, we have a lot of villages. I think I'll be sending some lot of videos and, a live stream showing you a lot of villages that have a lot of water problems. And these also cause river blindness because we have a lot of people having a lot of cataracts and a lot of problems with water facilities. So this causes a lot of problems, malnutrition and other stuff because the water facility is very, very poor, especially in some rural community and some community where water facilities is not there.
And the construction of one well is estimated to run about $10,000 US.
Yes, that is the local one. We are getting the people dug the holes till they find it because maybe they can dug the hole for like maybe 80 to 90 feet deep before they can see the water. From there, we have to clean it and get other equipment for us to put one well. So like that one is the total cost to do one well with the maybe without using machine. That is the the manual way because we have people digging holes here. So for the machine, if we have machine, it can cost like $40,000. But without machine, having the people dug it because we involve the community people that we want to give you water well. So you have to find manpower for us to dig the holes.
Right. Now, have you had any, all of this is extremely tragic, and the human in me hates to hear it, but have you had any success stories? Have you provided any wells to any of these villages at this point?
Well, as for now, because we want cryptocurrency to hit all of this community and we want to see all young people, young children going to school for us to see how we can give them ideas about coding and teach them about cryptocurrency. We want to see how cryptocurrency can get people well water. So if we want to tell people in some of this community, we can tell them that with cryptocurrency, we donate with donations with some different cryptocurrencies. We have one water well that we have already dug in some of these villages. So we want to see how cryptocurrency can work harder. Hey God.
Now, what is the internet access like for these villages? Because that's a critical aspect of cryptocurrency.
Oh, well, cryptocurrency, like, for now, it's most frequently in the village, in the city. Cryptocurrency for now, I am one of the pioneers in working cryptocurrency, trying to let villages know about cryptocurrency, bringing young people and teach more people about how they can use cryptocurrency in some of these villages because internet facility is another problem and the government is trying its level best to see how they can give internet facility to some of these villages.
Well, I hope that they're successful. I certainly think teaching the children how to code is absolutely a beautiful thing.
Oh, yes. That will help a lot.
There are a lot of projects currently working to do that. And as far as I'm aware, it's not concentrated. It is being concentrated in one particular area, but Will Coley isn't with us at this point. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it was in Nairobi that he was talking about.
Okay.
But it's a very similar thing of teaching children how to code so that they can go into the larger cities and things like that and almost immediately find demand for their skills.
Yeah.
I wish that the American education system was so precise, so technical, so useful, rather. And in order to facilitate that, of course, the Kids Compassion Charity wants to provide them with both wells and with printers so that, classes and teachers can actually print materials out for their students instead of, as he was saying, having to handwrite everything.
Yeah, having to handwrite all the class materials, you'll break your hand doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like up to now we are still running on the same old system of education. So we want to bring something new. Like, we're talking about technology. So we want to bring something new. That's why we want to see a lot of these villages where the schools is, where we are working, where Kids Compassion is working. We want to see how we can get them a printing machine for each schools. We are working for now with 10 schools. So we want to see some of those 10 schools really having it. Some of the schools can avoid writing.
All right, well, stick with us for a second here. We'll be back with more discussion with Mustafa Cole and what exactly the Kids Compassion Charity is doing to help people out in the real world and how you, as a listener, can help. This is the Call to Freedom.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And before we get back into the discussion, I want to invite you to check us out on social media to stay up to date on things like when we're going to be having guests and what we're going to be discussing, all of that great stuff. You can find us on Facebook by using @TheCallToFreedom, on Twitter by using @CTF_LRN, and on the Liberdon server of Mastodon, similarly by using @CallToFreedom. And lastly, you can join us directly in conversation. This is the first time I've ever seen myself being the only show host online at discord.lrn.fm. Now, as we've been talking about since Friday, we're joined now by Mustafa Cole of the Kids Compassion Charity in Sierra Leone, where conditions are, they are pretty, from what I'm hearing, they are about as bad as the Western imagination would imagine them to be. Villages that don't have proper wells that sanitize the water and things like that. And he is actually working to solve those problems. And if you want to contribute to that, I would highly recommend you going to kidscompassioncharity.com/donate-now, where they take PayPal, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Yes, somebody on DLive said cryptocurrencies are useless or something to that effect. Well, here is a way
they're quite useful if you... This is one of the original things that cryptocurrency was really good for, is moving money across international borders.
Yes, it's beautiful for that. I would highly recommend Dash over Bitcoin. Of course, they do have a Dash address. What about Bitcoin Cash, Mustafa? A lot of us here have Bitcoin Cash. Do you happen to accept that?
Yes. For now, we try to see how we can upgrade the website again to add Bitcoin Cash, because we just opened our blockchain wallet, and so we have in our blockchain wallet we can create Bitcoin Cash. So we are going to upload it, our Bitcoin Cash. So if you have your Bitcoin Cash, you can just donate as well.
Beautiful. I would love to see our listeners actually go through that, even if it's just $5 or $10 or whatever. Take the money that you were going to spend to support the show or whatever, and instead send it to the Kids Compassion Charity. The easiest way is, of course, going to be with a cryptocurrency, but they do also accept PayPal. And all of these are ways that we, as Americans living in the comfort of our society with our running water and all of that great stuff, can contribute to other parts of the world that currently lack these things. So you do have testimony. You do have, you have a testimonial section on your site. I see now it's just a test field. So tell me, how are things going for the Kids Compassion Charity, and how are things progressing as well as you would like? I mean, obviously not, but...
Yeah, well, things is going bit by bit, because we just get our certificate from the government. Like, that one took us like 2 years for us to establish. So we just get our certificate from the government, and presently, before you can operate as a charity, maybe a 501c charity, you have to get official certificate from the government. So that one we have progress. And again, we are presently in the rain season, so we want to see how we can make things better for the kids, like as I'm telling you. So we are going on bit by bit. We just do a tree planting, 100 trees. We plant trees, different schools and some community as well, because Sierra Leone is prone of disaster. So we get the people to know that if you cut one tree, you have to plant another tree. So that is the idea that we go with, and we backed up with a cryptocurrency business called Epic. So we'll be having Epic Center in Sierra Leone. This is a new cryptocurrency that is coming. So they are working with us side by side.
What is the name of this cryptocurrency?
It's a new cryptocurrency coming up. It is called Epic, 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 okay. Epic Cash, EPIC.
Perfect. Thanks. I just wanted to make a note of it so I can check it out.
Yeah. So we partner with them to do 100 trees. So we are progressing bit by bit, but our main aims and objective is for us to start up, work on the sprinting machines, and also working on the water facilities, because water projects here is very poor. Some communities don't have water, and kids walking from a far distance for them to fetch water. And this water crisis all over in Sierra Leone as for now, because since the colonial days we have a very small dam, and that dam now, by then Sierra Leone was like 300 to 3,000 people in Sierra Leone, but now the population have already gone to 7.5 million. And those same dam is the one supporting the whole country. So it is not even going to the whole country. It is only in Freetown. So this caused a lot of problems. Some villages don't even have, some villages don't even have pipe-borne water. And kids suffering a lot for them to even go to school. Some of them leave school to go and fetch water because they have a very small bucket in some of these classes, some of the school classes. So they go out, fetch water during this class. So all those things we want to see how we can, bring better water facility for them and in the village as well, and see how we can improve their learning facility by giving them a printing machine. So if they want to do an exam, they can print their works, they can print all of their materials, and see how we can move into technology.
That is quite a task you have ahead of you. I like that you have it. Yeah, I mean that's monumental.
The water thing though, that's the most important part, because that solves a lot of problems at once. If you can actually get water get a well dug in a village, then the kids don't have to walk 5 or 6 miles or whatever to fetch water. Then they have more time that they can go to school and learn things.
Yeah, well, this is the problem we are having, because for now, the new government just gave out a free education. And this free education that the government came up with have a lot of irregularities, like some of the kids don't have opportunity to go to school. So when it is free, we have a lot of kids coming to the schools. So governments have a lot of stuff to be taken care of. So we want to see how we can help, with the government, to see how we can help with water facility into schools, because we have been looking at feeding, because most of these kids don't have food when they come to schools. And this is another challenge again. So we have a lot of challenges to tackle. And so we want to see how we can use cryptocurrency to be helping these kids. So if somebody donates, we can let them know that the kids can know that it is the new digital system of money you guys are making use of. So we want them to know about cryptocurrency. We want them to know about technology, like teaching them about coding. This is one of our main priorities, because, we want to work to the trend of, the 21st century as for now.
Wow. I certainly wish you the best of luck with it. Anybody who wants to can send cryptocurrency to the Kids Compassion Charity to help facilitate this and to show these kids in Sierra Leone that they're not isolated, they're not alone, that people outside of the world, people outside of their country do, in fact, care about them. And you can do this with cryptocurrency, simultaneously teaching them that cryptocurrency is money. It is a valid way of paying for these things that they would like to see paid for. So you can help purchase these printers so that they can actually learn coding and things like that in a safe environment. And you can facilitate these wells and other water, I can't think of the term right now, but other water services like piping and things like that.
Irrigation, pipes, yeah.
All of that using cryptocurrency. So again, you can find that at kidscompassioncharity.com/donate-now. I would highly encourage people to do it. Mustafa, would you like to promote anything else or go over anything else?
Well, no, we don't have to promote much. The only thing is we just want to see how guys like you are helping, propagating the message for Kids Compassion. I will be coming once in a blue moon, actually, to talk much about how we are going bit by bit. So as for now, we just want people to help us to see how we can work on our water facility project and also again work on our printing machine project again. Thank you very much to all of you guys listening and help going to our website and help donate.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mustafa, for joining us today. I certainly hope we can bring some attention to Kids Compassion Charity. If there's ever anything that we can do to help promote the charity, certainly don't hesitate to let us know. This is Call to Freedom.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And if you just happen to not like our commercials, then hey, I fully sympathize with you. Maybe you would like to check out the Call to Freedom's podcasts. They're available at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, as well as on Spotify, Google Play Music, the iTunes Store, Radio Public, iCatcher, and a number of other places that continues to grow every day. It comes ad-free, except today's episode. It won't be ad-free because I'm way too lazy for that. I characterize myself as lazy. Clearly not lazy. But today's will have the ads because I'm not going to sit there for 3 hours to clip all of the... It wouldn't take 3 hours, but it would take longer than I care to spend to edit out all of the commercials.
It'll take, half an hour to do that, I think.
Yeah, at least. And I don't have any desire to waste my 1 day off a week clipping out 30 seconds of audio. So once more, that's calltofreedomlive.podbean.com if you would like to check it out. It actually, the Podbean account got deactivated yesterday.
What?
They never attempted to bill me. They never even attempted it. There's no invoice in my email. I double checked. I just logged in today to do the podcast and it goes, your account expired yesterday.
What do you mean?
Click here to renew.
What the hell?
I was like, if you had just attempted to process the payment, it wouldn't have expired.
Yeah,
what are you people doing?
Card.
Now, there's some weird stuff going on with our Podbean account because you're not supposed to be able to pay as we do month to month at the rate that we pay. So their automated system doesn't know that our account is even active. Like, I got an email, a number like 3 weeks ago saying your account is going to be deactivated and deleted within the next week if you don't do something about it. I just ignored it. The account obviously is still there, doing just fine.
Yeah.
So the DLive chat apparently is new to cryptocurrency, which means we have dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah. Well, we kind of stopped talking about crypto very much for a while now.
Well, there hasn't been a lot going on. Cryptocurrency... They're essentially just waving it off as World of Warcraft money, right? No one has said that, but that's essentially what they're saying. One guy said their confusion is so great. One person said that they wouldn't recommend investing in cryptocurrency until it has a stock. Like currencies don't have stocks, and I pointed out that
you
the
can't buy
USD
stocks in money.
The USD has no associated stock with it. And he says the dollar has stocks. It's both a stock and a currency. Crypto is just a currency. I don't think these words mean what you think they mean. Now, all of us here of the libertarian persuasion, you should be aware, we have studied the crap out of economics.
Yeah, that's how we ended up here in the first place.
A stock can be used as a currency. Like if you have 50 shares of Exxon, and
stock is a share of ownership in something.
Yes, and you want to trade those 50 stocks, those 50 shares, whatever, for gas from the mobile station or whatever, and you have somebody there who owns the gas station who can make that sort of decision, who will make that trade with you. But that's just roundabout barter is what that is, because it's not widely accepted. It's not used as a currency. It's not a measure of value. It can be measured as having a value, but in and of itself, no, you don't go, okay, well, this car outside is worth 3 shares of ExxonMobil. That's not the way it works because it's not a currency. A currency is nothing more than a unit of measurement. That's all it is. It measures value. Now we're being told that we don't know what we're talking about. Wow.
By people who don't know what they're talking about.
By the guy who says that the U.S. dollar has stocks. I'm sorry, we're gonna end up losing this particular listener by the end of this.
Yeah, or he's just trolling.
I would like to believe it's just trolling, but I've dealt with people enough that I'm going to take it at face value and assume he's sincere. Now, obviously, you're carrying around sheets of paper in your wallet. They have absolutely no more inherent value than the cryptocurrency in your mobile wallet. In fact, I would argue that the cryptocurrency has a higher inherent value because it's necessarily own a digital device that actually has utility. At the end of the day, the choice of currency for a species is completely arbitrary. Even if we go to gold, it's completely arbitrary why we selected it. But the U.S. dollar, by being printed, it's been inflated over the past 106 years to the degree that it's worth about 3% of what it was worth when it was first put into circulation.
Yeah, slightly over 100 years ago.
Yeah, so if you were sticking with USD since its development, you have literally lost 97% of all of your money to government machinations.
Yep, there you go.
Now, Bitcoin has existed for like 12 years now.
10 years.
10 years? I thought it was 2007 for some reason. It was 2009 though, wasn't it? Yep. Okay. So, I mean, that's a fact, sir. That is a fact, Grumpy Cat. The USD's value has fallen by 97% since its inception. Even the Treasury admits this. Even the Federal Reserve Bank admits this.
They have a nice little graph.
Yeah, you can just watch the value of the dollar plummet versus Bitcoin, which, while it goes up and down, as one would expect a currency
That
too,
graph
based
goes
on
the other direction.
natural supply and demand, there is no point in the USD's history where it gained 8 million% of its value over the course of a 10-year period.
No.
But we do have that in regard to Bitcoin, which is currently sitting at like 8,500, I would guess.
It was about 8,400 the last time I looked.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the values today. Oh my God.
84.82.
Yep. Well, I've got 85.27 coming to us from Bitcoin.com. I said 8,500, but even if it's 8,400, it doesn't really matter. You can finally. Is this live? Is this live? No, this is buy.bitcoin.com. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it goes live tomorrow.
Yeah, I was hoping that local.bitcoin.com, where you can buy and sell Bitcoin Cash locally, was live today, but that was buying it directly from Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people, I was a crypto holdout as well for a long time, and it was fine. It was actually going to PorcFest the year before last, good God, that convinced me. Seeing people actually using it as a currency to buy and sell stuff was life-changing. It's like, oh, so this is like a real thing. It's not just this internet money that people are talking about. It's an actual secure, stable, and largely private currency.
Yeah, I can buy a hamburger with it.
I intend to buy my dinner with cryptocurrency. I bought these cigarettes that I'm using with Dash.
Yeah.
So
at Corner News, right?
Yeah. So you can saying that Bitcoin is a worthless currency is absolutely ridiculous. We just told you how much it is worth. It is worth $8,500. That is far from worthless.
Yeah, I don't know what definition of worthless this guy is using, but it's certainly not the definition the rest of the planet's using.
No, I mean, the USD is worthless or increasingly worthless. The Zimbabwe currency, the Venezuelan currency, these are all things that are actually worthless. And the USD is well on its way to being that. It's just happening more slowly, which I will give it to the United States government. Their whole scheme of setting the USD up as the world's reserve currency has propped up the dollar and kept it going, even as they inflate the ever-loving crap out of it.
Their whole scheme is based on inflating without hyperinflating.
Yes. So that they rob us slowly.
Just skim a little off the top every year.
Yes. So that, it's hard to identify that way where your money is going. It's hard for the average American to look around and go, why is the standard of living plummeting? Why is the cost of college go up?
Why does the cost of everything go up? And people blame everything except the actual culprit.
Yeah, like they hear stories from their grandfather about how they could buy a gallon of milk for a dime, and they do the math and go, okay, so you could buy 12 gallons of milk for every 15 minutes you worked or whatever. And then they go, wait a minute, I've got to work for half an hour to buy 1 gallon of milk. Because the numbers are skewing ever so slightly every single day closer to crap being more expensive and your money being worth less. You're purchasing the value of your money, the purchasing power of your money going down every single day. Why anybody would defend such a system when this is demonstrable, this is observable fact. This is what the Federal Reserve Bank will tell you, the people who print the actual currency and loan it to the American government.
They tell you this openly.
They are extremely upfront about it because they know they can't even hide it. It is 100% a debt-based currency. Without debt, the USD could not exist. And if you manage to wipe out all of the debt in the world, there would not be a single dollar left in circulation. And we would still owe them money. We would still owe the banks money because of interest. That's the USD, man. I can't imagine why anybody would defend such a system, especially when you come up with hey, here's a currency that doesn't have any debt attached to it. You're not selling your soul to almost the literal Satan in order to use it.
They're either confused or they benefit from it.
This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of this discussion in just a moment.
Free Talk Live.
When you call a government bureaucracy, more often than not, the person who you talk to will not know the answer to your question, but they'll tell you they think they know who the person is that has the answer, and they will pass the buck to that other person, and if they happen to pick up the phone, they'll usually pass on the buck, or you'll leave a voicemail and never hear back from anybody.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being rude at the PSA at all. The third person I talked to, she was getting pretty hot under the collar. It's like, what are you being so angry for? I'm just asking regular questions any person would.
Well, she's probably upset that she had to pick up her phone and talk to one of the little peons like you.
She's probably annoyed at her underlings who actually gave you her phone number and let you get through to her.
Yeah, that's probably the case. She just wants to play solitaire, and you interrupted her game, or she just wants to surf on the internet, and you just ruined her day.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,328, silver at $14.80, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,542. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the State Department on Friday put new regulations in place for visa applicants, requiring disclosure of social media accounts, a move that critics worry could lead to an easier path for deportations. Activist Post reports that applicants for visas will be required to provide a list of their social media account usernames, email addresses, and phone numbers upon applying. The restrictions, which AP reported will affect up to 15 million people a year, were previously only used for applicants who were flagged by the department. In an interview with Common Dreams, Dan Feit, a reporter with Unicorn Riot and Privacy Advocate, speculated that the new rules could be used to expedite deportation proceedings. Feit said he believes the new rules could provide a bigger attack surface for the government to target applicants with, giving more of a chance that the government could find inconsistencies to then use as the justification for deportation. The new regulations are part of extreme vetting policies announced in an executive order by President Donald Trump in March 2017. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A Salvadoran trans woman died in ICE custody June 1st, the first day of Pride Month. The Mind Unleashed reports Johanna Medina was a migrant from El Salvador, seeking asylum in the U.S. Known to her friends as Joa, Johanna died Saturday night from complications due to HIV and AIDS. In a statement, Casa Migrante trans leader Grecia, who was close with Johanna, said that ICE agents ignored her pleas for help as her illness became worse while in custody. Grisha visited Johanna in the intensive care unit at the hospital and likened her friend's condition to that of Roxana Hernandez, a trans woman who died in ICE custody in May 2018 under still unclear circumstances. At least 25 people have died in ICE custody over the past 2 years, including 6 children. Conditions in holding facilities, reported by Common Dreams on Friday, are so bad that overcrowding is making it hard for people to breathe. President Donald Trump on Monday called for a boycott of AT&T to force big changes at subsidiary CNN, which Trump often accuses of biased and negative coverage of his administration. That's according to a report from The Mind Unleashed. Trump has frequently attacked CNN's coverage of him, dating to his time as a presidential candidate. On the campaign trail in 2016, Trump vowed to block AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner, which included CNN among its most prominent assets. The Trump Justice Department did challenge the blockbuster $85.4 billion deal, and a federal judge ruled last June that the merger was legal, but the Department of Justice appealed the next month after the deal officially closed. Then in February, a federal judge again ruled in AT&T's favor, and the Justice Department let the matter go. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
I'd like to tell you about our newest innovations in helping to keep our communities safe: problem creation policing. Problem creation policing, or PCP, is a way to get the entire community involved in maintaining a safe neighborhood. This is more than just a neighborhood watch. We plan to have officers on the ground, helping, aiding, and surveilling for illicit activities. You never know when you're going to find some young punk doing something illegal out in public. That's why we're going to have officers everywhere. You never know when they're going to pop up. So we want PCP in our homes, at our jobs, and in our schools. We want PCP everywhere. How can you get involved in PCP? Well, for starters, you can call your local authorities and ask them how you can get PCP. I'm Byron Kingsley from the Citizens Respecting the Authority of Police.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. I'm, of course, your host, as always, Aria Dametso, composer of the music that you're listening to right now. You can find it at soundcloud.com/Aria Dametso if you would like to check out more of it. Joined, as always, in the studio by
Michael Hampton from CryptoTip.org.
And the show today has sort of been all over the place, largely because we had on Mustafa Cole during the last hour, who was talking about the Kids Compassion Charity, which you can find at kidscompassioncharity.org.
.com, I think you said.
I think it was .com. It is .com. And you can actually facilitate the building of wells, the purchases of printers, and all sorts of things like that are necessary in Sierra Leone using cryptocurrency. Now, I've just asked him if he's going to be at Forkfest or Porkfest because I know he tried attending a year or two ago and his visa was denied. I would like to actually meet the guy in person. But this is a libertarian, I'm assuming. I've never asked him about his politics, who is out there in the real world doing real work, attempting to help kids in poverty-stricken villages, disaster-stricken areas, all of that kind of stuff. And you can facilitate helping that using cryptocurrency. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Now, Joe Biden, creepy little pervert that he is, already back up to his old tricks, right?
Who's he put his hands on now?
Some little girl telling her that she was very pretty or something like that. Oh, God. But all of that flies out the window, according to Pink News, because he is saying that as his first act as president, he would advance LGBT protections. So it's okay to be a creepy person.
Really? How's he going to do that?
Well, the same way that Obama did, presumably, the same way that Trump is undoing. The 2020 Democratic challenger and former vice president told a human rights campaign on Saturday that passing the Equality Act, an LGBT plus non-discrimination law, would be one of his top priorities. I've not heard about the Equality Act.
Yeah, this is news to me.
Praising the bill's passage through the House of Representatives. Oh, this is the one that's going to add trans people to the list of non-discrimination.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that. Now we need to elect a Democratic Senate that will pass it. I promise you, if I'm elected president, it will be the first thing I will ask to be done, because it will send a message not just at home, but around the world. This is the civil rights issue of our time. If it fails, think about what else fails. It would have a profound effect on who we are as a people. I would rather see the Civil Rights Act as a whole just discarded. And I know that causes people to get riled up, but I still believe it.
Okay, so for the benefit of all the people who get riled up in the chat, why do you feel it should be discarded?
Because I believe that a person who owns property can choose to associate with people or disassociate with people for whatever reason they want. And they don't even have to provide a reason. We can study the types of people that they're disassociating from, and we can draw, notice patterns and things like that. Oh,
draw inferences.
Yeah, this person keeps, declining providing service to black people. They're probably racist, and we can boycott them accordingly. But if we ask them, "Are you racist?" they're not required to provide an answer to that either. Just as they're not required to actually. I mean, they're not slaves of society, and that's ultimately what it comes down to when you say that, society should be able to tell you what you can and can't do. We're all slaves here to the state.
Yep.
But the bill has passed through the Democrat-controlled House of Representatives with a groundswell of support, but the Republican leadership in the Senate has so far refused to bring the bill to a vote. Not surprising whatsoever. The presidential hopeful, the creepy little child molester, not saying he's a rapist, but he molests children. He's on video molesting children, which I would define as unwarranted touching.
JoeBiden.info.
They've added new material.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new videos. Just scroll down and you'll see the extra videos they've added.
Yes. This is the guy that pinknews.co.uk is writing an article about. The creepy, at the very least, the creepy can't keep his hands to himself, Joe Biden.
That's scary.
So, talking about Trump, Biden obviously lashed out, saying, instead of using the power of the executive branch to ensure justice, safety, and dignity for all, this White House is literally a bully pulpit. He's callously extending his power over the most vulnerable, implementing discriminatory policies, and the current vice president uses religious freedom as an excuse to license discrimination across broad areas, denying LGBTQ Americans their basic rights. Now, one of the things I saw today that had me riled up was there's a lot of homophobic and transphobic people in the liberty community. There really are. And I see this all the time, especially transphobic ones. And I don't really care. I'm not going to unfriend them over it. I'm just going to continue scrolling and ignore them. But today I happened to see somebody, a libertarian, say something to the effect of, I think we've probably given gays too many rights.
Yeah, I saw you post that on Facebook, and I'm like, what? We don't give anyone rights.
No, and that was exactly what I said. If you're one of these people, feel free to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Because a libertarian talking about giving people rights.
Oh, this guy was a supposed libertarian?
Yes. Is absolute nonsense. That is not how this works. You may recognize someone's rights.
I mean, did he
and cease violating those rights, but you do not give them.
Fall asleep in class or something?
I don't know. I mean, they pick and choose. They're HAPA supporters. They're fans of that whole, we need to physically remove the gays from society. We need to physically remove the trans people from society and all of that. And at that point, when you start talking about physically removing people,
initiating... he's one of the hatertarians.
I don't know about that. But when you start talking about, using force, violence, and aggression against people because of their characteristics, that's when you stop being a libertarian and you start being just a statist. That's a state. That's what the states do.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So,
or, like I said, a hatertarian, because they're driven by hate. That's what animates them.
I think there's probably a bit of hate in them, but I think it's probably more to it than that. That's how people end up on the libertarian to alt-right pipeline, though, is when you start there, that you can physically remove people. It's a very, very short walk off a pier to end up being Chris Cantwell, who used to be a libertarian.
Well, he said he was.
But and he talked the talk. He talked beautifully about it. There was no reason whatsoever to doubt that he was a genuine libertarian. And then, boom, he's alt-right. And it's primarily, you are correct, hatred that animates them and sends them from libertarianism, because there are these people doing things that they don't approve of, and they want to put a stop to it. It's a lot of that liberty for me, but not for thee kind of thing, which isn't libertarianism.
And if you want to put a stop to something you don't like, you either have to do it yourself or you have to get other people to do it for you. And if you get other people to do it for you, you have created the beginnings of a state.
Well, yeah, and if you do it yourself, you're simply immoral. You're simply an aggressor.
Exactly.
But I mean, you can argue against behaviors that you don't like. I certainly don't condone racism. I argue against racism and think that people shouldn't do it. And I will speak out against them and outline reasons why I think it's not just destructive of their own cultural identity group, but of all cultural identity groups. But there's a big line, there's a big difference between speaking out against something and using force to put a stop to something. And this is what we were talking about, I think it was on Free Talk Live last week. The difference is between acceptance and tolerance, because tolerance is about simply allowing something. Like, right, I don't like it when my cats claw my mattress, but I tolerate it because I know they're cats.
Yeah.
Tolerance, in and of itself, it involves a sort of not liking whatever is happening. I tolerate having to walk at the moment because of the state trooper stalking me. I tolerate all kinds of things that I don't like. If I do like it, then it's not tolerating it. It's accepting it. It's embracing it. It's any of these other number of things. So you can be tolerant without being accepting. In order to be intolerant, you have to be willing to use force, violence, and aggression to put a stop to the behavior that you don't like. So I would argue that it's not possible to be intolerant and accepting, but it's certainly possible to be tolerant and unaccepting. You can tolerate the existence and the lifestyles of LGBT people without inviting them into your home and into your life. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go nowhere. We got more to talk about, like the impeachment proceedings against Trump.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. And that's actually how our next caller is. Actually, Mustafa Cole was using Discord as well, but he had us on speakerphone with presumably his cell phone, so the quality wasn't 100%. But we're joined now by Wesley the G on discord.lrn.com. Discord.lrn.fm. So many URLs running around in my head. Who wants to talk about the non-aggression principle? Wesley, what's on your mind?
Right. Okay. So I was wondering if you and your co-host, sorry, I don't know his name,
Michael,
but
we say it at least 3 times a day.
You'll get it eventually.
So I was wondering if Michael and Aria think that the non-aggression principle is a good principle, and that they think it aligns with their own moral values.
That is a hard-hitting question. A good principle for what end, would ask the nihilist in me, because I would judge it by its utility. As far as whether or not it can produce a better society based on my point of view of what is better and what is worse, I would say that the non-aggression principle is probably likely, based on what we know about human nature, to produce a society that I would deem to be better than one that relies on aggression. So in that capacity, I would say it's a good principle.
I'll agree with that, and I'll also add, what type of society do you want to create? That's the thing you have to keep in mind when you're deciding on a principle for yourself, is what's going to be the result of this, and is it what you want?
So what is? Okay, so
how do you decide what's best?
It sounds like, Area, you're like making a utilitarian case. So you're not actually like a deontological or I forget the specific term for that, but so you kind of take the so you kind of take the like the David Friedman approach, where you think like following the NAP will produce the greatest utility, but it's not simply because you think people have like these rights. It just creates the most good.
Well, I think I have these rights, and I have no reason to dispute the idea that other people don't have the same rights that I have. I don't want to have aggression used against me, and operating under the assumption that other human beings exist in the same capacity with the same sapience and sentience as I exist, I would assume that they share those same ideas. Now, these are generalities that we refer to that, pleasure is preferable over pain. People generally avoid pain and things like that, which are not universally true. I'm sure we will find some lunatic out there who, as a matter of principle, rejects the non-aggression principle because they prefer aggression.
Those people should not be hard to find.
No, but I would assume that for the most part, in general, people will prefer to not have aggression used against them. Because I know that I would prefer to not have aggression used against me.
Join the club.
I don't know if I agree that it would necessarily produce a better society. In fact, it really... God, this is going to be great. Okay, sit back. So it really depends on what we think of by better society. Do you mean the long-term survival of the human species? Because I think the non-aggression principle is most likely going to be counter to that. I think if we wanted the species to survive the next billion years or whatever, then we don't simply need the non-aggression principle erased from the annals of history. We need the aggression principle, because that's how nature as an entity, and it's not an entity, but that's how nature as a thing separates the strong from the weak. And if humanity is going to survive into the eons, then it has to be the strong that do it. And the non-aggression principle, by definition, allows the weak and the strong to coexist, thereby diluting the gene pool and making the species as a whole weaker. Whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I would argue that it's not my call. I know that I, in this world, in this existence, at this moment in time, don't want aggression used against me, and this is a reasonable assumption to make about other people. It doesn't matter to me what a good society a billion years from now is going to look like, or whether or not humanity is going to survive the next billion years, or whether or not they're going to dilute the gene pool. Like, the average IQ is demonstrably decreasing in the United States. Well, the reason is because we're keeping stupid people alive and letting them breed. I don't mean to be all alt-right about it, but that's just the facts. We're letting stupid people continue to exist. We're not letting nature do what nature does, which is kill off stupid and weak people. These are morally, from points of view of compassion and empathy, these are good things. We shouldn't let someone simply die because they're stupid. No, we should have these ideas propagated throughout society that it's a bad idea to play in the streets and things like that. But when you do that, you do have this stupid person who's too stupid to realize that they shouldn't play in the streets out there breeding. And what do? They produce more people who are too stupid to realize that they shouldn't be out there playing in the streets. In the long run, I think that's probably bad. But I don't care, because the long run is a concept far removed from my actual existence.
You won't be around for it.
No, what actually matters to me is this person who needs to be told not to play in the streets, because I don't want any harm coming to this person.
So I think that's kind of interesting that despite the long-term consequences, you're still not, you still don't think it's moral to like violate these people's rights. And that kind of like brings me towards like these hypotheticals where 1 million people will die if you don't pinch your neighbor or something like this. So it's like a small rights violation and a large consequence.
Well,
So
because
do
the
you think
large consequence is esoteric. It's imagined. It's not something I can demonstrate. Logically, I would say logic and evidence and reason are in my favor when I make that assertion that, keeping stupid people alive is ultimately going to make the species weaker. But that consequence, it's abstract. It's not real. What is real is the person out there who needs to be told not to play in the streets. That's a real thing. That's a real person doing a real thing in a real world, as far as we can tell. The whole billion years from now thing. It's completely in my head.
Okay, but like you can like anticipate the future. So assume that you made this logical conclusion. Well, if it's perfectly valid, then this thing will happen. So it's not just an abstract concept, it's like a prediction of the future. So granted that you know what's going to happen in the future, is it still okay to violate this person's rights or no?
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm speculating about what's going to happen in the future. For all I know, I could be 100% wrong.
I'm sure at some point the sun is going to go red giant and the earth will boil off.
Well, I mean, we know that as far as we know anything, we know that to be true. But again, we could be wrong somehow. But in that regard, would the non-aggression principle being adhered to lead us to be more likely to have escaped Earth by that point and to colonize other planets? Or will aggression and unbridled strength is law be what allows us to move off of planet Earth before that actually happens?
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be either way. That's so far removed from my reality, though, that I don't see any particular point in trying to set some maxim that is going to lead to one result or the other, because dealing with this world in these circumstances, all I see is the wrongs being done by aggression. This is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of this discussion in just a moment.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. And you know, we libertarians and anarchists, we talk a lot about providing for charity without state intervention. And I found a wonderful opportunity for people to do exactly that. Coming out of Sierra Leone, who was on the show with us earlier today, Mustafa Cole is leading the Kids Compassion charity, which is currently helping Lydia Ture, a woman blinded in an oil accident, receive vision treatment. It's currently helping to, dig wells and provide printers for schools and all sorts of really awesome things. These are real people on the ground who are helping other real people. And you can donate money to them using cryptocurrency. So go check that out at kidscompassioncharity.com/donate-now. And we would love for you to do that. Again, that's kidscompassioncharity.com. Now, as we alluded to, we weren't the ones who alluded to it. In fact, the Democrats have been alluding to it pretty much since Donald Trump won the 2016 election.
Yeah, they've been wanting to get rid of him since, before he took office.
Now, the timing for this is absolutely ridiculous. An election is coming up. They are campaigning for an election, and at the same time, they want to
Well, I don't know. The timing does kind of make sense to me that nobody's going to primary Trump. So, and they
Bill
don't
Weld's dumbass is attempting to. Can I say that?
Can you say what?
I don't want to say it again in case I can't say it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just for some reason I didn't.
Bill Weld is attempting to beat Trump in the Republican primary. Not likely to happen.
I don't think anyone's going to succeed in beating Trump in a Republican primary.
Bill Weld can't succeed in beating his meat.
Oh, my God.
He sucks so bad.
Oh, my. I didn't say it. You said it.
Oh, yeah, I said it. Screw you, Bill Weld.
And the Democrats have no candidate.
No, they don't. They have no one who stands out as a person of interest. Joe Biden is almost certainly going to get the 2020 nomination, and he's just going to get smacked around by Donald Trump.
So their only hope right now is to impeach Trump before the election and throw the Republicans into chaos.
Now, I'm not sure that's correct. Even if they do manage to impeach Trump and remove him from office, why can't he run again?
He could. You're right. He could run again. I don't know. Is that even allowed?
As far as I'm aware, you can be.
Congratulations, you found a constitutional crisis no one's ever thought of before.
As far as I'm aware, you can be a felon and run for president. All you have to be is an American citizen of 35 years of age.
Yeah, there's no qualifier for committing crimes or whatever.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if he's guilty of all this stuff. I mean, they can impeach him and remove him from office right now. It's not going to stop him from running again in 2020.
Well, they could impeach him now and then remove him right after Election Day, maybe.
Could they? I don't know.
Because this congressional session is going to end in January of 2021.
So they would let him win the 2020 election and then remove him from office following the finishing of their impeachment proceedings.
If they time it right.
That would be a really good way of getting Washington as a whole just burned to the ground. I don't like Trump, but I tend to think that would be such an obviously partisan political ploy that even the average American just would not go for it.
I don't know. It's a thought.
It is, but I tend to think the timeline is more urgent than that. I tend to think he's going to be impeached. They're going to run their stupid little proceedings, and they're going to ultimately fail, most likely.
They probably will fail, but they're going to try to remove him as soon as possible.
But even if they were to succeed, that's not going to stop him from running in 2020, as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's any particular restriction against that. But White House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, that's the kind of thing that a journalist should just know not to do.
Did she? What?
She's the House Speaker. So
they did say White House.
No, they didn't.
That's wrong.
They didn't. It's while House Speaker.
While.
And that's the kind of thing a journalist should just know not to do. When your second word is House Speaker, you should not have the first word one letter off from white, because when, like you did, when a person glances at, they immediately see White House.
I thought it said white. Yeah.
But she's urging caution and patience in response to those in her party clamoring for impeachment against Donald Trump. Her top deputies, meanwhile, are signaling it's only a matter of time before they begin. South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn, the third highest ranking Democrat in the House. How do they do this? Do they have like a Super Smash Brothers style tier list? What is this? Third ranking Democrat?
I don't know how they rank themselves.
That is so weird to me. I bet it's by wealth. No, because if she's the top one, well, that does leave room for John Kerry. He's a senator, not a representative. Yeah. But anyway, said in an interview Sunday that he believes impeachment proceedings ultimately will be launched against Trump at some point in the future. He suggested that Democrats are already laying the groundwork in Congress. They've been laying the groundwork for like 2.5 years at this point. It's getting kind of tedious.
Yeah.
I don't like Trump. I would prefer him not be president. I would prefer to have no president. I wouldn't particularly care one way or the other whether or not he's removed from office, but Democrats, I got to tell you, if you're going to do something, just shut the freak up and do it.
Yeah, get moving. Come on.
You've been dragging this crap out for 2.5 years. It is well past time for you to actually make a move. You remind me of Republicans trying to repeal Obamacare. Well, we just can't figure it out. You just can't figure out how to proceed with impeachment proceedings.
How did I never got that? How the Republicans could not figure out how to repeal Obamacare?
Oh, they knew. I mean, they passed laws repealing Obamacare repeatedly while Barack Obama was in office, and they knew he would veto it. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they got a Republican president, they suddenly forgot how to do it.
Yeah, why is that, you suppose?
Because they had no intention of doing anything but virtue signaling to their base in the first place. They just want to convince the average person that they want to do all of this nonsense. They don't actually want to do it, just like the United Kingdom. They just have to present the image that they want Brexit, but they don't actually have to do anything that's going to pursue it. So I think we've already begun, Clyburn said on CNN's State of the Union. We've got all of these committees doing their work, and we're having hearings. He added, we do believe that if we sufficiently effectively educate the public, then we will have done our jobs. You can't educate school children, dude. And we can move on an impeachment vote, and it will stand. And maybe it will be what needs to be done to incent the Senate to act. Last week's public statement from Robert Mueller, the special counsel who led the Russia investigation, emphasizing that his report did not exonerate the president of obstruction of justice accusations, has triggered an avalanche of calls from Democrats to begin impeachment because they have forgotten that you are not guilty until proven guilty. You are innocent until proven guilty. You don't get to just say, well, we can't prove he's innocent. Oh, well, that means he's guilty. That's not the way this works. It's not the way it's supposed to work anyway.
Yeah.
Impeachment is a political act, said House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, whose committee would be the one leading the impeachment proceedings. He said that there certainly is justification for Congress to begin these proceedings against Trump, but said it was critical for the American public to be on board before launching the process.
Wait, why does the American public need to be on board with this?
Because I don't know. That's a good question. If he's done something illegal, then it really shouldn't matter whether the American public is on board with it or not.
If he's done something illegal that he can be impeached for, then you just impeach him.
Well, they don't want to lose their votes, I guess. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. They don't want to push this too far.
So they will impeach Trump, but not if it risks us losing our own re-elections.
Well, he says impeachment is a political act, and you cannot impeach a president if the American people will not support it. I don't think that's the way this works. I don't think it's done via popular vote. The American people right now do not support it because they do not know the story. They don't know the facts. Oh, well, enlighten us, Your Majesty. What are the facts?
What the Mueller report was all about?
Yeah, but it was heavily redacted, and I can't be bothered to read it. So I don't know the facts, and I don't care about the facts. Just do your political maneuverings and shut up. This is the Call to Freedom.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Oh,
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. Maybe you've been listening to the show for a while and you've been wondering how you can help and show your support. Well, social media shares certainly go a long way, but so does cash. And you can do that using Patreon at patreon.com/Call to Freedom. Our wonderful sponsors there are currently helping to keep the show up and running, including the podcast at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, where we just put up a excerpt of the interview with Don Boys that occurred Friday. Actually, it's not an excerpt of the interview. It's just the interview.
It's just the interview part of the show.
Yeah, so if you were just tuning in for that, definitely go check that out. You can find all of our cool stuff at patreon.com/Call to Freedom. If you would like to check it out, we would certainly appreciate it, because I'm sick of paying for this stuff out of pocket. But anyway, back to the subject of impeachment. Other top House Democrats, and again, I really want to know how they had this whole ranking system thing put up there. Is it how much of their crap do you vote for? Is that how you get a better rank?
I don't know. I don't follow Congress that closely to know how the Democrats rank each other.
Is it like a kill-death ratio thing? You have to drop this many bombs on brown kids to be one of the cool kids?
Yeah, that could be it.
You have to have at least a 50-1 KDA. I can't imagine. It's just the whole idea. So it's stupid. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said Sunday that impeachment is destined for failure. I tend to think he's probably correct. We do, in fact, have a Republican-controlled Senate.
Yeah, the Senate is not going to... I mean, if the House impeaches him, they'll have to hold the trial, but the Senate is not going to throw Trump out.
No. And the whole thing is stupid because, again, there's an election literally next year, like 15 months away. We will be voting for the president.
Again.
And if Americans still support Donald Trump, then they will again vote for Donald Trump, even if he's impeached, even if he's removed from office. But I think all of this is really just a political ploy to ensure that Donald Trump loses in 2020.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
A better solution would be to run a candidate that's actually worth a crap.
People don't want to vote for a candidate that's worth a crap. They want to vote for their giant douche or their turd sandwich.
Well, I don't think the Democrats have a candidate that's worth a crap. Joe Biden seems to be the one in the lead, followed closely by Bernie Sanders, both of whom suck for entirely different reasons.
Yeah, neither of those can defeat Trump.
No, I don't think any of the Democratic candidates are going to beat Trump.
So this is probably just going to be like a Hail Mary move to hopefully get Trump out of office because they don't have another candidate.
Well, Schiff says that I think we're going to do what is right for the country, and at this point the Speaker has not reached the conclusion, and I haven't either, that it's best for the country to put us through an impeachment proceeding that we know is destined for failure in the Senate. The momentum inside the party comes as Trump is overseas. On Monday, he met with that old bitch known as the Queen and other members of the royal family at Buckingham Palace amid D-Day commemoration ceremonies. In a tweet on Sunday, God, it's always tweeting.
Oh, I hate Twitter.
I hate modern society so much. Apparently, Donald Trump took to Twitter to complain about his treatment, saying Democrats can't impeach a Republican president for crimes committed by Democrats. Well, you are correct in that you are a Democrat. But I think they can impeach you for whatever reason they want if they have the votes to do it. Adding that the facts are pouring in. The greatest witch hunt in American history. Just don't tell the 40,000 women who were actually burned during the witch trials in the United States or in the colonies.
Yeah.
Congress, go back to work. No, I'm thinking of the Spanish Inquisition. There were not that many people killed.
Yeah, there were nowhere near. Big one.
No, there were nowhere near 40,000 people killed in the witch trials.
Spanish Inquisition. I don't know how many people were.
It would have to be the Spanish Inquisition with a number like that.
God, I wish we had some way to look these things up.
We do, but I'm busy. I can't just pause the show to go Google something.
Yeah, true.
But he characterizes the entire thing as a witch hunt. He's not entirely wrong, and they've been gunning for him since the day he beat Hillary. Their first plan was to get a certain number of electors to defect.
Yep, that didn't work.
I even saw people talk about raising money to pay for the fines or whatever this is going to involve, which is literally using money to corrupt politics. Hey, we're going to bribe you to vote the way we want to vote, even though you're legally bound to vote this other way.
Yeah, but it's okay if we do it.
Well, it's definitely something that they believe. And then, of course, that failed, so they started marching and doing all kinds of nonsense. Then the talk about impeachment began. So let's not be facetious about this. Talk of impeachment began the day Trump won the election, and it's been going on since. And now we're 2.5 years into it, and the Democrats still can't figure out what they want to do. Just like they can't figure out who they want to run and whether or not they want to be the far-left maniacs like Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or whether or not they want to be the moderates, the centrists like Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, all of whom suck and have no business being anywhere near a position of power. But they don't see that. No, all they see is somebody who tells them what they want to hear. Just like the Republicans, all they have is somebody who tells them what they want to hear. We're totally going to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, right.
Until we have a president who would actually approve and sign off on the repealing of said act, in which case,
nope, not going to happen.
We just can't figure out how to do it. Republicans, Democrats, two sides of the same coin, all ultimately useless and just trying to tell other people how they want to live their lives. Republicans are getting pretty good at it lately, at least getting pretty good at attracting attention to themselves. I am in awe at how completely the Republicans controlled the national narrative in regard to the abortion issue. No one was really talking. I mean, sure, you had your pro-choice and pro-life advocates who talk about abortion every single day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the national narrative. It wasn't the issue of focus until Republicans were like, hey, let's make this the issue. And man, did they ever.
It became the issue in all the states passing these crazy laws.
It's a beauty to behold just how effectively they took control of it.
That's
and obviously,
dark beauty.
All you have to do is something really stupid to get attention, and I think that's ultimately what they did. But Alabama at least seems to be trying to fix their stupidity by making it the law to castrate sex offenders and things like that. So if you're actually guilty of incest or rape or any of these other historical exclusions to abortion that are not exclusions in Alabama, then there's a whole separate punishment for that. It's not a coincidence that shortly after they passed their heartbeat bill, eliminating abortions for even people who were raped or victims of incest, it's not a coincidence that shortly after that they passed the Castration of Sex Offenders Act, or whatever it's called. And it may not even have passed; it just was presented to the Alabama Senate.
I didn't hear that I heard it was brought up, but I didn't hear that they passed it.
I haven't either. I haven't followed it that closely. That seems it would have been better. It would have been stronger if they presented these two ideas at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Like, look, we are making it illegal to kill babies, but we're also substantially increasing the penalty of these people who put babies in you without your consent.
That would at least be somewhat consistent.
It would have made the whole anti-abortion thing go down a little bit smoother, at the very least. But of course, then you would have people say, well, you could just increase the penalty for the rapists without doing anything about abortion, but you can't make everybody happy. And that's the problem with the state, is that it attempts to implement these sorts of one-size-fits-all solutions, and if you don't like it, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's the law.
Except, well, leave, go to another planet.
Well, if you have the technological capability, I guess.
Elon Musk, come and save us.
No, because he's a welfare whore working on behalf of the state. Screw him.
Yeah.
Everything he has because of taxpayer money.
Yeah, good point. What are we going to do then? You can't take a SpaceX ship to Mars?
No, but you should be free to build your own spaceship. And you're not. I wouldn't want... I think I probably would not want to get into like a spaceship that my neighbor just built out in his backyard. But they might, no, I'm good.
You might not. You might not.
But if there was an actual private enterprise, an actual private business out there that had been working on and testing and designing some sort of spacecraft that could travel to Mars, that would I would have less hesitation about getting into that. I would be more hesitant about getting into a NASA spacecraft than one created by a private industry. Because there's consequences if the private company has a Challenger-style explosion. NASA just gets more money and builds a new spaceship.
Yeah, that's what they do. Oh, and here's some more bad news for you. All the space launch facilities are government-owned.
I'm not surprised. That doesn't surprise me at all. But why can't you just, buy some isolated tract of land and build your own? And again, because of
Some
government.
state will come in and say, this land is not zoned for a spaceport. You didn't get the right permits.
That's exactly right. Well, this has been the Call to Freedom, but don't go anywhere. Free Talk Live is coming up in just a moment.
Saying that a few images of